Everything is fake in China. I don't know if you know this, but this is one of my favorite video watch. So this was during COVID lockdowns and they were delivering supplies. What could have been achieved by a single truck moving down the street has to be done by a line of people delivering a bag of goods one at a time, just so they can film this whole thing and put it online for what they call is the quote unquote positive energy, spreading that around China, brainwashing people. Yep, it's all a facade.
Leave me alone!
The day in China fakes everything. What it seems to be is a person in a bear suit is now gaining a lot of criticism in China as people seem to think that this is not a real bear. Just take a look at the movement here. To me, it seems okay, but again, like if you can see the butt area, there's that wrinkle on the suit. Looks pretty unnatural, and just the head movement and everything, and the way that's standing, seems like it's fake. But who knows? But look at this. This is a classic case of tofu drag construction. That is the entirety of that top to bottom window framing just detached from the building, as you can see here. And this is after, I believe, a big typhoon. And that's what happens. So you cannot trust a residential building that you lived in China to be completely okay. And living in high rises might be very problematic.
China fakes everything. This is part 3. These are black corn cobs a man bought, but after boiling one, it turns back into regular old yellow corn. And I guess you get free grape juice with it. Who knows what they used to paint the corn black, and corn cobs aren't the only thing that's painted. How about black pigs? Apparently they sell at a higher price if the pig meat is from a dark pig. And so they relegate to spray painting now? We're not done yet. Here is a meat vendor putting a red liquid all over the meat. Preservatives or additives, who knows? All I can say is that nothing is real. How about spraying cardboard so that they weigh more? And so the vendor can make more money per kilogram. This is what's happening when moral declines in a society. China fakes everything part 4. I came across this on the web. This man is exposing how some spam meat is made in China. A piece of chicken breast the size of a quarter, a bunch of cornstarch, and loads of chemicals. And it turns out just like the spam you see in the store. How about beef balls? They're made with duck heads and blended into a paste. They're also loaded with chemicals and additives, but look like beef balls to me. How about injecting things with mysterious liquid? This is done to eggplants, cucumbers, chicken, and fish apparently. Next comes soaking things. Wow, look at that. You get a fully grown apple and cucumber harvest just by dipping them into a beaker full of mystery. Or how about fake donkey intestine, a marinated dish using pig uterus and ovaries instead of donkey intestines. As this video shows, they end up with the same color, maybe a similar texture, and definitely not gonna try it. China fakes everything part 5. This lady picked out her lobster, took a failsafe measure to break off one of the legs, only for it to return with all of the legs intact. Wow. Bait and switch, come on, it's a damn lobster and you still get lied to. What else? Well, Chinese people love eating hot pot, and one of the dishes they love to eat is called duck blood. This video explores how fake duck blood is made with chemicals. It looks the same to layman's eyes. In this video, he shows the whole process of combining different chemicals to create the color, the shape, and the texture. He says you'd be lucky if you got pig blood instead of duck blood. Look at this, real duck blood has holes in it like cheese. The fake ones look like jello. That's not healthy. Well, there's more. How about Chinese Heisenberg making beef soup? There's no beef involved and there's no bone soup. Just pure chemical wonderland. Hey, Breaking Bad isn't just exclusive to the US and A. Now, people may think that additives are everywhere, not just in China. Well, you'd be lucky if they tell you there's additives. And you'd be luckier if whatever they say on the label is truly the things that's been added into the product.
China fakes everything part 6. Are you sure diamonds made in China are real? This man explains his factory can make 5 yuan diamonds that look, shines, and feels like the real ones. Carat for carat, it also passes the testing pen. This is a propaganda shoot from a recent snowstorm in China. Instead of clearing the road, letting people stuck go home for the new year, they had time to film handing things to the driver. Care to eat some eggplants from China? They get a chemical bath first to keep them fresh for longer. How about styrofoam houses? Remember tofu dread construction? A new building used styrofoam with a layer of concrete to build walls. Yes, you can use styrofoam, but not if it crumbles like that. And if it's a large complex in China, it's quite dangerous. Or how about just when you want to pour from a water kettle? It all falls apart.
China Fakes Everything Part 7. This is a gold coin from a local bank. After torching it, the coin turned into a silver color. Gold doesn't lose color like that. Need some patriotic messaging? Well, how about pretending to march in windy Tibetan plateau? Oh look, it's so windy that the grass doesn't even move. Must be a stable camera. Why the heck are they even there in the first place? With riot shields too. How about some Benjamins? Now, apparently they're made in China. Are they also printed in China, or is this some massive dollar bill scam? Or how about the real cities in China? These are the pictures you see often used in videos to showcase how beautiful Chinese cities are, but this is the reality, the real China. This is the real Beijing. People live in poverty conditions across China. This is what many people experience every day, and that's not the reality. This is China Fakes Everything. China Fakes Everything Part 8. Love me some crab meat for hot pot. Did you like yours piped into crab shells? Unknown white goo is the flavor.
I'm sure it's healthy.
How about Napa cabbage? In China, they go through ink water wash by the stacks, and those soaking flavors ensure longevity, health, and most importantly, authentic Chinese soil flavors. Love me some gutter water cabbage. And the classic building fiasco in China, tofu dreck buildings, poorly made construction. These stairs are so durable you can rip off a piece and crush it with your hand. I hear the flavor goes really well for your next salad bowl. Or as they do in this video, crush it by stomping on it. That's Chinese tofu dreck construction for you. And finally, the star of the show, Chinese EVs. They look real on the outside, but when you drive it, it goes up in flames. China Fakes Everything. China Fakes Everything Part 9. This year, there is the fake fire extinguisher that looks the same on the outside but doesn't put out fires. Along with that, fake fireproof fiberglass. In testing, doesn't last long and shatters immediately. Pair that with some tofu dreck construction, you got the perfect building combo. How about fake wine? A bottle of this stuff will cure anything or prevent anything from sickness, erectile dysfunction, cancer, sleep problems, cardiovascular issues to just simply rejuvenation. The regular one costs $777 and the gift bottle costs $7,777. And turns out it's just peppermint extract. How about a bot troll army? These bot accounts on Twitter and other social media, they're run by Chinese police and prison camps, but they're also run by private owners using hundreds of cheap chips, as well as my favorite delicious vegetables soaked in all sorts of liquids and chemicals, including muddy water, random foam wash, and of course we can't forget injecting chicken with some sort of a liquid. Might be water if we're lucky. China Fakes Everything Part 10. Do you like sausages? Well, I did. Now these are called starch sausages. They're fried. Yes, it's a ham sausage look-alike consisting mostly of starch, some meat, loads of chemicals. Well, they just replaced the meat part with ground-up bones, which is a pet feed in China. Oh, my childhood, it's destroyed. And that's literally what I ate after school every day. I guess Chinese people just now eat like dogs too. How about a famous dish involving pork belly? Instead, it's made with a cut of pork around the neck, usually discarded by the butcher. It contains pork lymph nodes, thyroid, and lipoma. Or how do you like your Chinese kimchi? Dirty, muddy, how about both? And how about some delicious fly-flavored veggie rolls? Yummy! How could we forget about fake bronzewares and crafts? These look just like the real artifacts at the Met Museum. They make them cheap too. If you'd like to support my video considering checking out my sponsor, Blueberry Creative, I recommend this Derma Roller Face Mask, which contains intensive hyaluronic acid for moisture repair and hydration. Link in the comments. China Fakes Everything Part 11. You like shopping on Temu? This man did. His charger is now married to the outlet. And does that chip spy on you? Xiaomi's new EV claims they have an anti-hand crushing feature, so people tested it themselves, and it turns out to be a lie. And not just one EV makers, all of them seem to have this problem. Test it with the chicken feet, it will crush your hands. A boy and another man already did it to themselves. How about some nice carrots? After some dirt and chemical marinade, they now look farm fresh and organic. And how did Chinese people deal with the flood? Well, apparently through poorly made flood walls that can be picked apart by hand. And finally, check your gold nuggets amidst rising gold prices. If they're from China, make sure they aren't just some regular old iron. China Fakes Everything Part 12. Ever run out of flour to make bread? Not in China, just run to your nearest wall and harvest fresh flour. They're vegan, called tofu dread construction. Or is it tofu powder?
这个加上这个，能不能？
How about buying a Chinese EV? You're actually buying a combustion engine. Did you know that? Look at this one. Yep, they go up in flames a lot. How about a month-old cooked rice that doesn't go bad? Almost like there's some sort of impossible chemical involved. That can't be right. Trolls in my comment says China is perfect. The rice feels like styrofoam and probably tastes like it too. Rice technology. The CCP wants to rule out fake combat capabilities in their military, yet they have their soldiers spend hours perfecting the art of folding blocks of blankets. I mean, why not? Since their commanders are busy with girls and pocketing money, what else is there to do? China fakes everything part 13. Let's all just pretend for a second that we're incompetent and can't do math. This man goes to the gas station, he fills up, he noticed something was off, so he got a measuring flask, and it turns out the 1 liter only measures up to 700 milliliters. Relevant authority says that this is a national standard. How about a $1.4 million apartment in China? Well, your party better not turn physical, otherwise your wall might just snap on you. This is a piece of wall that's filled with styrofoam. In a $1.4 million place, they're still using styrofoam. The better question for me is, why does the wall break after you punch it once? And also, remember the SU7 EV from Xiaomi, right? Well, the founder promises that there's a 12-year anti-corrosive paint coat on the outer body. Well, this man is cursing the CEO of Xiaomi after he just received the car for 2 to 3 days and the paint is already peeling off. I guess it's more like a 1 to 2 days anti-corrosive paint, just enough time to get it out of the factory into the buyer's hand. China fakes everything part 14. This man got a Temu package and it reads quality does not meet standard. I guess the seller on Temu really thought that Westerners couldn't read Chinese, so they shipped it out anyways. China's version of the Japanese shine muscat grapes is to dunk unripe grapes into a cup full of chemicals and they turn big and ripe. This Chinese variety doesn't taste good unless it's soaked. Now we're back with more Xiaomi SU7 EV. The side panel is coming off on new cars after Xiaomi claims it's an aerodynamic feature. Well, I guess dangling parts are also part of this cheap Porsche ripoff. So aerodynamic. Also, you can use voice command outside of the car to open trunks. Well, China has truly achieved theft superiority. How do you like manual processed chicken feet? Well, this one gives you the added flavor of people's saliva. And there's the rat-infested sun-dried snacks and formaldehyde-soaked veggies and meat. Classic China. China fakes everything part 15. This is heparin, a blood thinner. In 2008, Baxter, a drug company, imported Chinese-made heparins, which were found out to be contaminated, and it led to the death of at least 19 people. It contained possibly counterfeit ingredients that mimicked the real drug. By the time the investigation was to be conducted in China, everything was scrubbed clean. You couldn't find anything about it. This is a piece of meat served to kids at lunch in China. That's a cut of lymphatic tissues, which is unhealthy to be consumed by humans. A recent highway collapse in China had 48 people, and it's a tofu drag project. And that is when construction companies cut corners, try to save money on material so they can pocket more. The poorly made embankment show that it has a shallow base, which does not seem to support the structure of a hillside road, and there's no supporting bars either. A bird's eye view shot shows the various different parts of the highway which has cracks, and it looks to be very damaged. Meanwhile, some buildings in China just peel off like it's skin shedding season, or they simply start to collapse piece by piece. China fakes everything part 16. These are dogs. Do you like feet-flavored mangosteens? Well, this guy doesn't tell you when he cuts it through, and you're like, why does it taste sour and salty? What about tofuception? Here you have the fake tofu eaten inside a tofu drag building. And this tofu apparently is mixed with industrial-grade lime. Of course it's harmful to your body. What else could it be? How about an iPhone faked so well, there's no way for grandpas and grandmas to tell that it's actually an Android. Now, you might think Temu is an amazing app and their sellers are conscious sellers, right? Not really. Here's a sorting station in China, just shirtless men sweating all over your packages. And how many ancient artifacts you buy from China is actually real? Well, according to this video, ancient coins from the Bronze Age seems to just be manufactured in somebody's backyard and turned into excavated artifacts. Anything can be a business in China when the product is fake. China fakes everything part 17. Samyang hot chicken ramen actually has a fake version in China. You couldn't tell from the packaging, it's the serial number. Of course, even if you cook the noodle, it looks exactly the same. Well, the taste is horrible, of course. There's a famous dish called beggar's chicken in China. It's when you wrap the chicken in clay and bake it. Well, this man orders one for takeout only to find that his clay-covered chicken is actually clay-covered clay. Or maybe the restaurant thought he needed the full experience of the beggar and the homeless, so he gave him the clay, but he's like, you gotta go fetch the chicken yourself. Now, what if you bought gold and it's fake? Well, that seems to be pretty common in China. This lady brought her gold bar to get examined, and it turns out after breaking it through that the color inside is silver. She says she got this as part of a joint shares program. It's summer, you need sunscreen. Welcome to China. Here you have an automated intelligent sunscreen dispenser. And let's take a closer look. This one is actually from my hometown. This is truly next gen. And he even smiles at you. China Fakes Everything Part 18. Just another day in the field for the farmers in China. Oh look, they installed a new water pump for us. How nice. Oh, it has nothing on the bottom, not even connected to any water pipe. Maybe I'll just take a nice little drive downtown to charge my EV. Oh, why are they falling over? And why does it look like they use sand instead of cement? Looks like another tofu dread construction to me. Have you ever seen a crab assembly? Well, here it is. This woman is doing precisely that. Instead of catching them in the ocean, she's assembling them.
再拿个钳子，这钳子也给它挨上啊。
Is durian supposed to be dunked in green slimy liquids like this? Does it help the fruit ripen faster, or is it some other chemical?
Brother,
Everything this man films, he says, is actually fake. When you take one out, it looks pretty real, but when you put it with the other ones, well, that's the only time you can tell that it's actually fake. He says that some of them, it's even hard for professionals to differentiate. China Fakes Everything Part 19. Love Positive Energy Stage Propaganda.
来看一下这是什么套路。
How do you know if the Chinese medicine ingredients in China are real? Well, according to this woman, they're at best substituted with a placebo or lower quality ingredient. At worst, they're just fake.
拌上地黄油，冒充熟地，这黑乎乎一块，谁都看不出来是啥。你瞅这个黄金片长得嘛，大家吃的时候都是整只泡的，没有人掰开看吧？你掰开瞅瞅，看看里边。
This is a video of construction workers stealing galvanized steel. No, now how's little Johnny, who worked hard to build his 1 meter by 1 meter home, going to support his 100 kids? These videos make me think that they're actually recorded in real time, given how fast China just puts up these tofu dreg projects. Well, at least they still have eco-friendly wood veneer, right? Well, that's fake too. Yep, they fake wood with concrete inside, among other ways.
差不多1万多吧，这样一罐一盒水泥。
要画面了，这是。看这导演，你这么整不对劲，你应该躺沙堆底下。躺沙堆里扒呗。对。哎呀。等会儿。看他家是吧？就要这个画面，看他家捕捉的，你瞅着，一会儿一本露着，你看家。那哥们儿回家要工去了，3等功。看什么？也，这导演导的不怎么太好，导演呐。水反正没离多远，离屯子，看到吗？这就是屯子哈，瞅瞅。
What you just saw was them manufacturing fake eggs. They do this with pork too by putting water into the pork meat so that it weighs more and it sells for more price per kilogram. They also do this with, there was a huge scandal in China when I was younger. It was them with baby formulas. They put this chemical compound called melamine in it. And melamine, when the baby consumes it, their heads will get really big. And so there was a huge scandal. And there's also something even worse.
这视频你们大家看一看，我现在传到网上了啊，让你们大家来看一看，公证一下哈，他们。
China fakes everything and now it's faking girls. This is a Chinese AI model that allows a guy to look like a girl.
就是这个直播实时录像。那么直播的话，它这个其实已经是很完善的，包括像这种捏脸什么的。
You know this will be used by scammers in China. Watching anything from China, you better not trust it's actually a woman. And they're also faking Russian models to be online influencers in China. Russia is the secret to going viral for short video platforms. In 2022, Russian Nana was a popular account. During a subsequent live broadcast, Russian Nana forgot to turn on her beauty filter, and netizens discovered that she was actually Hubei Nana, a woman from China. Now there's been multiple situations where stolen faces are used for AI models to be faked in China. Whether that's Natasha, Sophia, Katerina, or somebody else, in their bio, they always say that they're studying in China, they love Chinese culture, and hope to stay and live here. Sometimes they would even say Huza. It turns out these accounts are making tens of thousands a month using ChatGPT and stolen faces. China Fakes Everything Tofu Building Edition. This lady mastered the lost art of the one-finger technique. Hello. Kids love to play, but be careful in China. You better watch out, those bridges can be deadly. It only takes 2 kids to rip apart a bridge? Do you like communism? These floor/ceilings are so in. You can share dinner with your neighbors upstairs and downstairs. How nice. Our food. Sprinting, people love sports. But in China, the quality of these tracks are as good as those tofu buildings. And again, here's another man who has mastered the lost art of the one-finger technique.
哎，看到没有？全部是和那个，就是和那个泥巴一样的，比泥巴还那个，看到没有？看到没有？一捏就大块的掉，看到没有？你这个墙要这样，你敢贴瓷砖吗？老师傅呀，啊，这个你不打掉，贴瓷砖啊，这个得了呀啊，什么瓷砖也会掉噻。